I don't understand. They think it's about the money for me. They think I want the money in that. They have no idea that I love what I do. There's 1,000 other ways I can make more money than what I'm doing right now. But I'm making an impact, and it fires me up and it fuels me every single day. Welcome to another episode of Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, Araujo. As you're coming on, please go ahead and check in. And thank you for joining me today. I had a little bit of technical difficulties today, on these days where holidays are paid off. I don't have my staff here, so I have to run the show on my own. And one of the things that I realized is that the show must go on, right? This is what I plan to deliver. This is something that's part of my regimen. And my job is just to deliver on what I said. So again, thank you for joining me on this day. I know we have plenty to do. I know we have a lot of big plans. But taking 20 to 30 minutes with me, I think will put your mindset in the right place so that you can go out there with intention to continue to grow your business, to continue to deliver for your family, to continue to do the things that you know are right and set the foundation for long-term growth and expansion. And those are some of the things we consistently focus on here, is long-term growth and expansion. Now, we all understand the game of real estate, and it's a rough business. It's a very competitive business. And if we're not on the right mindset, reminding ourselves of the things that are necessary for us to do on a daily basis, it's very easy to veer off track. But today I want to have a conversation about ego. And good morning to you, Armando, Madeline. Good morning, Eric, Carla. Good morning, and Patrick. And continue to check in as you come on board. But I want to have a quick conversation because I caught myself in this place over the weekend. It's the ego, right? And showcasing our success. And we are in a business and we are in a society where we almost need to showcase our success immediately to get that, to feel like we have arrived at some point so that we can showcase to our clients that we're successful at a certain level, right? But let's go ahead and define what ego is, because I think ego is almost sabotaging your growth if you don't see it for what it is. Now, I'm not going to go into this conversation and telling you that ego is a bad thing. And I'll explain in just a second. But let's go ahead and define ego. Ego is a person's sense of self-esteem. Is the way you feel about yourself, right? Is the way you're committed to doing certain things and showing up. It's almost like the pride. It's almost a pride that you have for yourself. That is the ego. And one of the things that I read over the weekend was when your ego is tickled, it wants more. And I love the way this person described it, right? When your ego is tickled, we want more. When someone gives you compliments, we want more of those compliments. Or when we showcase a certain level of success, we want that. When we gain a certain amount of power, we want more. But, a lot of people think that ego is a bad thing, and it's not. Ego is your best asset. It's what got you to this point to begin with. You felt like you deserved more in life. You felt like you could accomplish more in life. So you decided to venture off and open your small business to become a realtor. And that's exactly what you are. So I want you to consider that because you have an ego, you have a certain standard and a certain sense of self-esteem, and it drives you to be more competitive. It drives us in general, right? And we appreciate ourselves more. So having an ego is not a bad thing. But let me go back to where I was at this weekend. Now, it's real easy to compare, to see others, and we want to be able to showcase that we're very dominant in our space. We want to tell that to our clients that we're successful. We almost want to, just remind them that, hey, if you work with me, you're working with success. And in this world of social media, it's real easy to get sucked in, right, into this place of materialistic items. Of showcasing the success before it's actually there, before your business actually has all the systems and processes. For most of us, we're still running a puzzle where everything depends on your actions and your actions alone. There is no software behind it. There is no automated marketing behind it. There is no systems behind it. It's all on the shoulders of your hard work. And what we want to do is we want to be able to showcase that to the general public. And this weekend, I was on social media, and I ran into this guy here locally that, is just showcasing his success in a massive way. And, he's a young guy. I'm like, dude, that's awesome, right? And he's driving these $250, $300, $400,000 rides. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, that is insane. Like, that's his way to be able to show the success he's gone through. And we all show it in different ways. We show it on our vacations. Think about the last time you took a vacation, you took all those photos. A part of you wants to showcase to the general public that you've reached a certain level of success. Or when you buy that new car, which is a requirement here as a realtor, right? I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But think about all the things that we put out on social media. Part of that has to do with the ego and showcasing a certain level of success. Whether it's purses, whether it's materialistic items, whatever it may be. Because it's real easy to showcase that. Now, the things that are tough to showcase are the systems and the softwares for your business. So we put that on the back burner. We're more inclined to spend the thousands of dollars to take our family to Disneyland or to go out of town or to fly to New York, spend all these thousands of dollars because of the success we've had in our business. But when it comes to adding additional software and systems, we always hesitate. I can't tell you how many agents I know personally that make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, but hesitate to pay a software system that costs them $100 a month. But at the moment that you can showcase that and take their entire families to, this place or that place, it's like no questions asked. And the reason I think that happens is because we can showcase that success. We can showcase to that general public. We can even showcase it to our own family. And it gives us a certain level of satisfaction. But yet, the reason we don't reinvest in our businesses, buying the camera we need to buy, investing in the software to get a podcast going, investing in a reliable lead source, right? In Facebook ads or just hiring an employee. How many of us are not even there yet? Or a transaction coordinator? We hesitate. Because how do you showcase that on social media, that you have a transaction coordinator? Or that you have this new software or CRM that costs you $200 a month? The hesitation happens there because it's not easily, your ego is not easily tickled. It's not easily complimented by others. But if you showcase that new purse, hey, listen, it's real easy to get those compliments. If you take your entire family on a vacation, it's real easy to receive those compliments. So when the ego is tickled, we want more of that. But we got to realize, and I'm not saying, like, for me, let me tell you, I'm very blessed to be in a situation that I am. Now, I don't want to make it seem like it was all an accident, like it was just a blessing. I understand that it was my hard work and having the faith of doing the right things will equate to the results that I want. Okay, so it wasn't necessarily a blessing or like this miracle happened. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I feel blessed because I have the mindset to understand that if I do the right things consistently over a certain period of time, I will always get the results that I want. And I'm so happy that my businesses are very profitable. My brokerage, AZ and Associates, my coaching and consulting company, Do the Work, and my investment companies where I hold a number of assets that pay me on a consistent basis. I'm very blessed to have that. But I know there's still some things that I need to reinvest into the businesses. I know I haven't arrived yet. So this weekend, I got sucked into looking at others and showcasing those $250,000, $300,000 cars that I found myself looking online to see how I can make that happen for myself. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. We all work hard. But I was only doing it to tickle my ego. Because I know I have bigger fish to fry, right? I know I have bigger things to do. But yet I'm getting sucked into this vortex of tickling this ego to showcase to others that I've made it. And that's never been my game. At least not in the last 5 years. It was before. And I got in big trouble for that, right? I made a lot of mistakes for that. For being very selfish about the process. When it was not really a business, it was just a hustle. And everything depended only and solely on my efforts. There was no systems, there was no processes, but there was big profits because I refused to invest into other employees. I refused to invest in other people and other software to keep this process going. And all I was doing it for was to showcase to others of the success that I made. Now I've learned the ills of my ways. I've made some changes to my life. And you'll never catch me just showcasing certain things, just my cars and my houses. It's not that way. That doesn't drive me. But here, again, I got sucked into this vortex. I'm like, I could buy this $250,000 ride. I can easily do it. So I can showcase my success to others because I'm feeling a little, left behind because this guy or that guy has the things that I can easily afford but haven't pulled the trigger on. So there I was on different websites, and I'm like, all right, I can go look at that. I can do this. And that's what happens. That's where the ego can actually be a bad thing. Because I'm not doing it for my personal reasons. I'm doing it for comparison reasons. That's the only reason I got on websites, started looking at some cars. I have bigger plans that oftentimes get put on the back burner because your ego gets tickled. I know where I want to take this company in the next few years, and buying that car right now is not part of the plan. But yet I started putting it on the forefront. And I think that's what a lot of small businesses do. A lot of realtors do that. A lot of mortgage brokers do that. They know they need to add additional people, systems, softwares. But when the ego gets tickled, all of a sudden that's put on the back burner. They no longer think that investing in another employee to help them out is a priority. Because this car is more of a priority, or this boat, or this vacation. So they go for the instant satisfaction. The ego was tickled. The ego now made them make a decision. And now the priorities of their business, because they can't showcase the software on social media. You just can't. You won't get many likes. You can't showcase your new marketing campaign. Like, how many people are going to, tell you good job on that? Not many. But vacations all day long. We'll get all the compliments in the world. And we love that. That always strikes the ego very nicely. Like the phone call that I got from a local broker, a local franchise broker, not too long ago, 2 weeks ago. He calls me. He's like, hey, AZ, you're doing wonderful things. You're doing great things. I'd love to learn more from you. This guy has been in the business like 30 years. Do you think he has an agenda? Why does he want to meet with me? Why do people want to meet with you? Why do brokers call you out of the blue to try to meet with you? But what is the first thing that they do? They tickle your ego. You're doing such a great job. Your numbers are phenomenal. I'd love to learn more about you. Do you think we can meet? Hey, let's meet for coffee. Let's meet for lunch. You're doing great things. I'd love to learn from you. That's how we get caught up in doing things that we don't want to do. It's called manipulation. And we get manipulated through our own ego because we love the compliments. Think about that. I want you to be aware the next time you get a phone call from somebody. If they start off with a compliment for you, a compliment, or come in as the victim on a certain situation, making you feel sorry for them, that's a form of manipulation. And both of them are striking your ego. One, they're complimenting you. Two, they put you in a hero status. Hey, I'm victimized right now, which is now giving you this Superman complex, which is another thing for your ego. So now we respond on agreeing to meet, agreeing to lend money, agreeing to do all these things because they understand by tickling your ego, you will now do the things that they want. So I get this phone call, and I fell into this trap, knowing, studying, understanding all this. This dude was like stroking my ego. And I said, all right, yeah, we can meet. And then he says, hey, well, you were with Keller Williams back in 2004, right? Ah, I see what you're doing. Just like all the other companies that have called, trying to buy me out. And this is what I don't understand. They think it's about the money for me. They think I want the money in that. They have no idea that I love what I do. There's 1,000 other ways I can make more money than what I'm doing right now. But I'm making an impact, and it fires me up, and it fuels me every single day. But he stroked the ego. And I agreed to meet with him. Like some of you. Some of you, other brokerages, you're doing just fine. You've grown. You weren't even on the radar before. No one even knew who you were, but you did the work. You showed up every day. Now all of a sudden, people are stroking your ego. So we agree to do things that we typically wouldn't do. Having lunches with title companies we have no intention of working with. Going, to coffee with mortgage companies we have no intention of ever working with, because they stroked the ego. But I caught myself because I didn't feel right inside. I was like, dude, why did I agree to this? Like, I'm just going to sit there. I have no agenda with him. Now, if I had something that I wanted to meet with him for, okay, we can have a mutual mastermind. We could have a mutual, meeting where we're both going to get something out of it. But listen, he had an agenda. And I know it wasn't certain. I even asked him, like, what's your intention? What's your agenda? I just want to learn more about your expertise. Ooh, striking the ego again. All right. Yes. I want to learn more about you, Easy. What you're doing. He had an agenda. He didn't admit to me. But it didn't sit right with me. It didn't. And I felt uneasy for the next day. So I called him back and said, I'm sorry, I can't meet. Oh, well, why not, Isaac? I don't want to meet. I'm not going to give you a reason. I'm not going to give you, I just don't want to meet. And almost immediately, I felt back in integrity because I knew what he was doing. Now, when we come back to business in general, right? When we come back and we say, okay, we know the ego is a good thing. It drives us. It motivates us. It makes us competitive. Where do we need to catch ourselves where we're now putting the ego in front of our priorities? It's there. It's got to always be there. So embrace it. But if you're prioritizing materialistic things or things that you feel your family deserves before putting the actual systems and processes so that your family can benefit for it long term, then you're doing an injustice to your business, only to satisfy the short term sense of gratification. So we all need to understand this. So if you don't have a closing coordinator, I'm going to urge you to start doing that now, as opposed to thinking that it's okay just to leave the city, on a vacation. I can easily get that car, but I know there's more I have to do for the business first. Once I do, then there will be no question. And that's where we need to identify that ourselves. If we're able to make big purchases without even thinking twice, all of a sudden we need new furniture. All of a sudden we need to remodel our house. All of a sudden we need a pool. All of a sudden we need this, that, or the other. But when it comes to spending an additional $200 for some software that's going to help you be more efficient, why do we question ourselves? Why do we put the halt on moving forward? Probably because we can't showcase that. So I just want you to be aware of this. Now, there's certain things that we need as professionals. Yeah, we do need a nice car. We do need, certain, professional gear. We need the best computers. We need the best phone. I get it. Because that's required for your business. But if you stop at that and only that, and refuse to get the employee, refuse to get the transaction coordinator, then that's a problem. Because this is only a short-term hustle for you. Because people like me that are reinvesting into their businesses every day, and other agents that are willing to do that, will trample over you when the market shifts, when your hustle alone is not good enough. Because with or without you, the business is evolving. But the hustle can only evolve so much. Hard work can only evolve so much. It's systems, it's personnel, it's processes that will evolve your business for you. So we got to understand that. Changes will be made with or without you. So if you decide not to invest in your software, that's okay. Your hustle is awesome. But you can't maintain that level of hustle where you take it on all yourself for years and years on end. I ran into an agent yesterday. I'm not going to name who he is. He's been in the industry many years. A big producer. Was a big producer. But he wanted to always maintain control of every aspect of his business. He said, AZ, I had to break up my entire team. I got into a financial mess. Now, this is a top producing agent. And if I were to tell you his name, you would not believe it. He says, I had to disband my team. I was having issues at home. This guy is not in the best shape he's ever been. I'll tell you that right now. I've seen him in better shape. You could tell the stress in his eyes. And he said, I had to go back into doing everything again on my own. Because when he started growing his business, he was only driven by the money aspect of it, so he could showcase it to others. So he didn't treat his employees very well. He doesn't treat his team members very well. Because he needed to keep this certain level of prestige out in the public. So he became a tyrant. So now, he has to start from scratch. In his 50s. From scratch. I'm in this game for the long haul. And he tells me something very interesting. He says, I see what you're doing, and how in the hell can you pull it all off? Where do you have the energy for all this? And I told him the number one reason I'm able to keep going is something that I discovered not too long ago. That I feel very fortunate that I made this discovery, is I learned how to create space in my life. I learned how to create space. And I have the ability to make decisions, even though the finances may not always make sense, to hire more people, to get more people behind me, so that I can continue to maintain that level of space, so that I can see future opportunities. You need to create that space for yourself. Some of you know that you need an employee right now, but are unwilling to pay for it because you'd rather go buy something or take a vacation rather to reinvest in your business that can create more long-term for you. And I said, it doesn't always make sense. I have to take a direct hit to my profitability every time I decide to bring somebody else on, every time I decide to reinvest into my business. But long term, I've never been happier, more efficient, more profitable in my entire life. And I can sit here having this conversation without worrying that my business is going to burn down the next day. It's a great feeling to have. See yourself there as a business owner, because you don't want to be in this place 20 years from now with every aspect of your business still riding on your efforts, on your hustle. You don't want that. So I'm asking you to kind of put that ego aside a little bit. Just a little bit. Just pull back on those things that you think you need right now or your family needs right now. Just pull back on that. And have that conversation. I would love, let's go to the lake. Yeah, that's great. But Dad's got a few things we have to take care of. Yes, we can go to the movies today, babe. We're going to spend the entire day together. But I got something to do right now. We all want that. But you will not get there without the appropriate systems and softwares you need to grow long term. The first thing you can do, regardless, if you're a $0 to $3.5, $4 million producer, you must have a transaction coordinator. Period. If you're a $4 to $6 million producer, you need to start thinking about a part-time employee. If you're $6 million plus, you need a full-time employee. Period. If you're 8 to 10 or above, you need at least 2, a marketing coordinator and a transaction coordinator. This is the way we got to think. And understand that if you have that person there that you're investing instead of that vacation, that is going to pay its dividends long term. And when the market changes, you'll be one of us that maintain a strong presence in this game. The same game I've been a part of for the last 15 years and absolutely crushed it from day one. You need to be a part of that. So, again, I'm just going to ask you to do a couple things. One, embrace that ego. It's okay to have that high self-esteem of yourself. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of who you are. Continue to lead for your family. Continue to lead for others that are watching you. That's not a bad thing. That's a really good thing. But also check it. Understand that when you make decisions, is it based on the ego of showcasing it to others or not? And if it's not, hey, pull the trigger. Do it. But don't ever put the ego before the systems and processes of your business. There's going to be a time and place where you can showcase all the success you made. I promise you. And it gets so much better as you become more proficient in what you do. Proficiency. And 3, love what you do. Love what you do. Love, I want you to pay more attention to the eyes and the smiles of the families you deliver for. When you finally tell them your house is sold, or you just bought your new home, as you deliver the keys, I want you to be in tune with these individuals. Not just so quick to post it up there, which I encourage you to do. But I just want you to take a moment to look at their eyes, look at the entire family's eyes. I want you to embed that in your mind and understand that is the reason why you're doing it. That is the reason you're taking all this duress and stress day in and day out. For the outcomes for these families. You're helping them build a financial future, a financially stable future. Just be more aware. So love what you do by paying closer attention. All right, guys, let me go ahead and take some comments. Let's take some comments. And again, I want to thank you for joining me today. Eric, good morning. Carla, good morning. Patrick, Kaylin, Sharon, good morning. Nick. So true. You don't need materialistic things to show your success or happiness. I'm not saying it's a bad thing either. But as long as we prioritize certain things, we can combine the two and live a perfectly happy life. Claudia, sometimes I feel like I'm being too rude when I tell people no, but then I don't feel obligated to send them business. Yes. I let them know that I'm happy with who I'm using and don't see any reason to use anyone else. So no one's time is being wasted. Absolutely. Understand, just because we get a few compliments doesn't mean, and that's part of human nature. When somebody gives us something, now we feel indebted. We want to repay back. That's why when somebody says, oh, you look great, we always want to return the favor, right? Hi, how are you? Well, I'm doing fine. How are you? We always want to return. We don't want to feel embedded. So when somebody gives us compliments, we want to return the favor, but kind of take a step back. What are they really trying to do? What is their agenda? Are they simply like securing a meeting with you because you got complimented? And if that's the case, you need to cancel right away, right? Because all that does is just really, it wastes both of your time. Claudia, thank you for always reminding us of this. I have people telling me I need to look the part of being a realtor and get my nails done. But the expensive purses, shop for myself more often, take vacations, but I don't need that. My business is growing, and I want to keep growing. Yes. And some of us are driven by that. And if that drives you, that's fine. And I think a part of that, Claudia, you do deserve a part of that. But not to just showcase to others. It's because you want to do it, right? The only reason I was looking at cars is not because I had this really fire and need to go out and buy a $250,000 car. It was because I was just trying to showcase what somebody else was doing, all for all the wrong reasons. Now, may I come to a time, because I don't want to be a hypocrite in this either, if you see me driving up in a $250,000 car. But what I'm saying is, it's because I felt I wanted it. I needed it. And how I would feel behind the wheel of that car. Like the first time I ever bought my first $100,000 car. It wasn't for comparison reasons to anyone else. I felt good in it. I worked so hard for so many years. I didn't feel like I deserved it, but it wasn't to showcase to somebody else. Now, if it ever reaches that point again, you better believe I'll pull the trigger. But right now, it's not the case. I have bigger fish to fry. The plans that we have here with A's and Associates in our offices, they're massive. They're massive. So I need to stay the course. And once I pull that off, because that was my priority to begin with, then all the cherry on top and all the sugar and all the other things, if I really feel like I want it, then I'll pull the trigger. So there'll be a point, Claudia, where, yeah, that's part of your game. Always having the really nice nails, nice purses, because it's what you want, not because somebody's feeding that into your mind. So great point. Thank you for sharing that. Definitely on point. I've recently started investing in my marketing via social media. Yes, I see you with your camera work and the quality of the camera. That's great. And you had a choice, Eric. You had a choice to go out and spend that wildly, all the money you've made in the business. But you're learning some very valuable lessons right now. You said, you know what? I'm going to buy the best hardware I need for my marketing game. I'm going to invest in cameras, computers, lenses. All that's expensive. I get it. I probably have like $50,000, $60,000 worth of equipment here, at minimum. So I get it. Patrick, takeaway. One takeaway. Make sure you have the right systems in place. Guys, I'll never frown upon you guys like showcasing that. What I'm saying is, hey, listen, if that's what you need to keep you fueled, then do it. But I just want you to take it one step closer. What is it that your business is missing right now? Then you need to reinvest into that. Because for me, when I made purchases, it was to avoid the pains of my business. Like I knew I had no real business for many years. It was just a hustle. So I was just masking those pains through the purchases I made. Having 4 cars when it's only me and Carla driving, right? Going on these VIP vacations, the Playboy Mansion, because I didn't really want to like deal with this other stuff. Madeline, that's it. We're taking applications here at Dos Bros. I love it. I'm $1 million away from my goal, and I need more systems in place and team members in place to reach the goal. Yes, it is. It's very difficult. Especially when, and a part of that is because we don't trust ourselves. The reason I couldn't hire more people is because I knew it was only a hustle. Deep down inside, I was telling everybody it was a great business, but deep down inside I knew hustle. So I always hesitated on hiring somebody because that would make me responsible for someone else, right? And I don't know if I felt on fire one day or the next to pay them, right? Like would create enough revenue to pay them. So it's always scary, and I get it. Like when we expanded the brokerages, opened up 3 offices. It doesn't necessarily mean that we were making a lot more money. I just decided that that's what I needed in order to get what I wanted, a bigger presence. So we have to take these risks, but they're calculated. Because you begin to trust yourself, and you've always figured out a way to generate the income. And what that does when you have that employee, when you open up that office, or when you invest in an office here at A's and Associates, what that means is that you trust yourself, and you'll be able to pull it off. So good work. Sharon, I had a TC since day one. Can't imagine doing business without one. Yes. Why put ourselves through that headache? It's the best investment you can make from day one. That's the biggest mistake most agents are willing to do. They're like, well, I want to do it all myself. All you're going to do is take away from getting more clientele base. So guys, I hope this mindset mastery served you. I know it did me. I was getting sucked into that vortex, not only by that other business owner, but now cars. I got to just stay the course. You stay the course. You stay the course. And you'll be surprised how far you can get in 2-3 years. Imagine in 5 and 10 years of this. The sky's the limit. Thank you again for joining me for another episode of Mindset Mastery. And until next time, I will talk to you soon. Bye now.